A lot of women that I work with, that I speak to, feel like their body actually holds them back. But then what can you do so that your body stops being the thing that holds you back and is actually your most powerful asset? We go into the workplace, which is a very consistent 100% 24/7 output, because men were the first to go into the workplace and they have this 24-hour they have this 24-hour hormonal pattern. Women aren't weaker or less capable because their physiology is not built for 100% push, go, go, go every day. They are just as capable, if not more.
Hi everyone, I'm Chantal Swaby, back with you with another episode of Self-Care in the City. Today, we're talking to someone great. Someone who I think is going to really enlighten us on a lot about women's health. Alice Smith is the founder of Alice in Wellness. I typically have my guests choose a mug. It's kind of related to whatever their vibe is. So I just wanted to know why you chose, was it the pink one that you chose today?
I did. I chose the flamingos.
Yes.
It was hard. It was a choice between the flamingos or the peacock.
Oh,
so I was going bird themed, like nature.
Love it.
Spring is springing.
So you're all in that whole mode of spring, which I love, because it's kind of getting to that. We're in the spring equinox, aren't we? I think it was actually yesterday. It was the first day of spring.
I think equinox was 2 days ago, maybe.
Okay. I don't know. But they did say it. They did say spring equinox, but I thought that the actual first day of spring was on the 23rd, something like that.
Yeah.
So we're in that vibe then. Cool. I love it. And actually I love the muted tones with what you're wearing, so it looks perfect.
Yeah, very spring.
Very spring, very fun. So lovely. Okay. This conversation, guys, I think it's really, really needed, because I don't know about you, but actually I've definitely had my moments where I felt exhausted. I felt overwhelmed and just like a little bit off. And my first instinct was, okay, I just need to push through. And I think a lot of us just tend to push through whenever we're feeling a certain way. It's not like that whole British, keep on, carry on. So, but I think powering through, getting on with it, no one really teaches us, honestly, properly in school about adulthood. And I think there's something to be said about women understanding themselves, understanding their bodies, and realizing, we end up navigating stress, our hormones, burnout. All of it is considered normal to do on your own these days. However, I think trying to piece these things together, you're going through things and you're wondering if it's just you, which is why I'm really glad that we're going to be talking about this today. Alice, I'd love to just understand what it is that you consider yourself to be a specialist in. Let's start with that.
Okay, so I run In Wellness, which is my online women's health and hormone clinic.
Okay.
In terms of what I'm a specialist in, so my technical specialism is physiology, which is basically the study of the human body and how it reacts altogether. As it's basically very holistic. It's an expert in nutrition, exercise, stress management, sleep, recovery, and how everything is connected. There's a spectrum of well-being, of wellness.
Right.
One end being ill, disease, the other end being flourishing.
Okay.
And my specialist is helping women who are maybe down the other end, maybe suffering with menstrual health conditions linked to their hormone health, maybe it's perimenopause or menopause, but also actually trying to push women up to the other end. And even if they're not necessarily experiencing a specific condition or aren't feeling unwell, they may not still be feeling their best. So it's empowering women to understand how their physiology works and what they actually have the power over to do to help them flourish and actually help them feel their absolute best. And this is supporting their hormones so that their hormones can then support them back with their energy, their focus, their mood, their like ability to achieve their goals.
Okay, that's so vital that we understand exactly as women what's going on, and you helping us with that. I think the work that you're doing is incredible. And I know when I was going through those years of early menopause or perimenopausal, I guess it's what it's called, that I had a lot of questions. And it's one of those things that your parents never really talked about. My mother never told us what to expect about being in menopause and perimenopause. And I think it's because her parents, her mother, never talked to her. And I think now it's only become less of a shameful topic to talk about. We're getting now to starting off with 3 insights that I want to hear about from Alice. So you focus on a lot of the root causes.
Yeah.
And what's going on, and what are women often missing when it comes to their health. So what, I guess, things are women not taking into consideration that they really need to consider when they're looking at their health and talking about, your hormones or what lies beneath the surface of their health?
The huge thing that's missing is the education. Because I don't know about you, but I've never been sat down and explained by someone until I went and searched for it myself about how my hormones work throughout the month and how this is going to impact the way I feel and the way I think and my motivation and my energy. Maybe once in primary school I was told you will have a period once a month and that means you're not pregnant, but you're not told what happens around that. The period is a result of everything else that happened that month. It's not even the main event. So I think that education and what you were saying about perimenopause and menopause is the same thing. Your mum probably never spoke to you about it because she had no idea what was going on when she was going through it herself.
It's such a shame.
So I work with women and they feel like they're going crazy. They feel like they're broken, their body's falling apart, and they're really worried and really panicking, thinking something really bad is happening, but also they don't speak about it because they think it's just them and maybe they're weak or they're just not resilient. But actually, it's their physiology, it's changing, and these hormones, so estrogen, basically goes a bit crazy for a while, very unpredictable during perimenopause, and then in menopause it just plummets and we're basically empty of estrogen. But we have over 300 receptors in our body and our brain. It's not just our fertility that estrogen impacts, it's so many other things. So no wonder you're like having all of these symptoms related to your mental health, your physical health, your energy, but not expecting that, not knowing when that's happening, it can be a really, really scary thing. So I think what's missing is that education, and that's not the woman's fault. It's not, we have to take it into our own hand because the systems haven't caught up. The schools, the healthcare systems, education and workplaces, unfortunately just aren't where we need them to be. So we do have to take it into our own hands to empower and educate ourselves, I think.
That makes so much sense. Now that I think about it, it really does me think about how, you're right, in school, back in the day, we'd be sitting back and they'd be going through very high level, this is what happens to a girl, and this is what happens to a boy, and this is how you have a family, that kind of thing. But it never got down to what we would be experiencing later in life. And I think just having that education really would have helped a lot of women. So what is it that you might be doing now, I guess, to help with that education side of things? So
I have my social media platforms where I like to inform and empower and educate as much as possible.
And what might that be?
So on Instagram and LinkedIn are the main 2 that I use at the moment, and it's at Alice in Wellness.
At Alice in Wellness, guys. Remember that.
So I use that basically as like a library of information and my views on things and research that I've found, and try to make it make sense and make it easy to understand and simple to action as well. But also I run corporate workshops, corporate events on menstrual health. My signature one is called Lead Like a Woman, which is basically understanding how our physiology can actually help us and support us so that our health becomes our greatest asset.
Okay.
Because a lot of women that I work with, that I speak to, feel like their body actually holds them back. And again, it's that education, that empowerment, and understanding actually, well, first of all, what's normal and what's not normal, because that's really important. But then what can you do so that your body stops being the thing that holds you back and is actually your most powerful asset?
I love that. I mean, I have experienced, I've seen, and not personally maybe experienced, but I've seen so many colleagues go through a lot of stress, feeling that they didn't know where to turn to. They felt, again, I'm bringing back this theme of shame. It keeps coming, running through this topic, because a lot of women feel like they can't talk about it, that they shouldn't talk about it, that it's just a no-no in the workplace. And so it feels really almost, like you said, like we've talked about, empowering for you to come in and then give women this whole, no, actually, let's talk about it. Let's see how it affects you. Let's see how we can change that for you. And I think that really is an amazing, amazing gift, actually, that you're giving to women. Another insight that I'd really like to understand is about women normalizing burnout as just part of life. And I don't think that, it's kind of going back to what we were just saying in terms of going through the working world and thinking that they have to be this way, but actually, how do you get across to them that that's not the normal thing that they should be living?
In terms of just dealing with burnout.
Yeah.
It's so difficult because it's how the world is structured. We go into the workplace, which is a very consistent 100% 24/7 output, because men were the first to go into the workplace, and they have this 24-hour they have this 24-hour hormonal pattern, which means they wake up and can feel the same relatively in terms of energy and focus and mood and everything else that it impacts throughout the day, every day. Whereas women, we have a 28-ish day hormonal cycle. So we don't wake up and feel the exact same because our physiology isn't the same as it was yesterday. It's not the same as it was last week. It's not the same as it will be next week. But unfortunately, to look and feel like we are succeeding, we still have to go and push at 100% every day. And actually that is detrimental. It's not because women are weaker than men or not as good at men. It's because we're trying to fit into this mold that isn't made for our bodies. And when workplaces understand that, it can really make a big difference in terms of how seen their employees heard, how understood their employees feel.
Yeah, I love that.
But it's also it's important for the workplaces to understand, but it's also important for us, again, going back to understanding how our own bodies work so that we can lean into the subtle shifts. It's not about rigid rules. It's not like we have to do this on 1 week and we have to exercise this way on another week and we have to eat this on another week. It's not about putting rigid rules in. It's just knowing what to expect, knowing what your strengths of, because each phase has its own strengths. So knowing what your strengths of that phase are and leaning into those and maybe resting a little bit more 1 week so that you can come back the next week fully charged and really use the total power of your high hormone week because you've rested a little bit more and maybe done some more solo work, intrinsic work, reflective stuff when that was your superpower. Going back to your question, women are they're burnt out because they're trying to work at 100% every day, every week. Our physiology just doesn't allow for that. So it would take coming back to understanding your body. But a lot of work needs to be done because it's a social thing, it's a workplace thing.
So that's difficult, I would imagine, for a lot of women to really understand their bodies and listen and know what they're listening to in order to kind of realize, oh, this is what my body's telling me. I think a lot of people just are not that in tune. And yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think a lot of women aren't feeling that they're as in tune with their bodies that they should be. And that's why they push. That's why they just kind of you know, how they say, you know, there's 5% of our brain that we're kind of using in the conscious world, and then there's like 95% of it's all subconscious and what's happening internally. And I think that from what you're saying, you're trying to get a little bit more of that 95% out of women. And this kind of leads me into the next segment, which is about tools, and looking at 2 tools perhaps that one of them that I was reading about that I want to find out more from you that might kind of point us in the direction of how you do this with women is if you can walk us through your H.O.T, your H.O.T. Is that something you still use?
Yes.
Okay, great. Your H.O.T method, what it stands for and how it helps someone reset.
Yes, so H.O.T is the Hormones Optimized and Thriving method, and it's a program that I've created that works women through these 6 stages. So we start off, we get testing, we get comprehensive testing, because what's the point in going in blind when we can get blood tests that will tell us loads of different things. And it's not just looking at hormones, it's looking at your metabolic health, your blood sugar management, thyroid, stress hormones, inflammatory markers, vitamin deficiencies, because your hormones don't just work by themselves.
Right.
They interact with so many other systems in the body. We need to get the big picture, basically. And then I also analyze this alongside a very comprehensive history, symptom and lifestyle analysis questionnaire that you'll fill out. So we get this very clear window into what's going on with your body immediately.
Okay.
And then we use this on a one-to-one basis to basically set a program for you that fits with your lifestyle, what you have available in your time. But alongside this one-to-one support, you can work through the 6 steps. The first step is basically understanding your motivation and your mindset and your why. Because a lot of women will come to me and they say, you know, I want to lose weight, I want to, like, this is really difficult and I need to go on a diet and I need to do the exercise program.
Me!
But I always ask them to look a bit deeper than that, and I say, okay, what's the reason you want to lose the weight or you want to look a certain way? Because very often it's because they want to feel good, they want to feel confident. So we actually take that as the goal, the feeling good, the feeling confident, and that's what we create the plan to work towards. And we also think about if they're experiencing symptoms around their cycle. It's normally things like energy crashes, bloating, headaches, or skin or hair flare-ups. And we think about that is probably more important to sort out than the weight management and what you look like. So we think, okay, what's going to make you ultimately feel good? And we get hold of that and we keep that as your motivation throughout, basically. So that's like your reminder, your real reason, intrinsic goal. The second step is the empowerment, the education, understanding what's happening with your hormones throughout each phase of the month.
And is that, sorry, you can see I'm thinking, but I have a question about that empowerment, and that's kind of like is it like almost like a coaching that you do with the individual?
Yes, so it's coaching. It's pre-recorded little audio sessions, so almost like little podcast sessions that you can listen to on the go.
So this was getting to where I was thinking it was going. Is it almost like a subconscious rewiring?
It is.
Okay, that's right. Good.
That's exactly what we say. We're going to pick apart all of the wires that are there, and we're going to unwire and rewire your beliefs, your self-talk, your beliefs about your self-worth, because there's no point just going, I'm going to eat this way and I'm going to exercise this way, if you're not really understanding who you are and what you want and what your real goals are. So it's really important that we get to that first of all. Then it's the understanding your cycle and your hormones and how this actually impacts your physiology, and how that might make you feel, what's normal, what's not normal. And then we move into the 4 more actionable modules. So we have Nourish, understanding how to eat to support your hormones, your energy, your mental clarity. We have Move, same. So thinking about exercise, not to burn calories, but to make you feel good, to give you energy.
And does that include strength building, or is just movement, like dancing, or it could be anything.
It's everything encompassed. So
I love to dance.
Yeah.
I'd rather dance than go to a gym, probably, just in terms of movement, or even walking. Like, is that enough, or does it have to be? No, you are saying, girls, you got to go back to the gym.
So the movement is the basis of it, because movement helps to unstick your nervous system from stress. It helps you to relax, reduce cortisol, and that is basically creates the foundation of what we're aiming for without the move module. Okay. So moving for enjoyment, for fun, something that makes you laugh and smile, that basically tells your nervous system you're safe and can reduce stress, and it can help regulate your cortisol levels, which is often is often behind a lot of the symptoms that women are experiencing with their hormones, is actually just stress and being stuck in fight or flight. So any type of movement is good for that. Walking, amazing. Getting outside in nature, combining the movement and the nature is very effective. We do talk about strength training just because of how powerful that is for our metabolic health, for our energy levels, and our longevity. So we're not just thinking about the now. That's a big part of it, but we want to think about how we're going to be strong and independent and energetic into our old age, and strength training is important for that. We talk about, okay, what does that look like for you in your lifestyle? Maybe it's not going to the gym, maybe it's doing something at home, maybe it's doing a group exercise class. It's a 4-month program. I should have said that maybe at the start.
How long does this take?
It's a 4-month program.
Right.
So you work through at your own pace. You go back to sessions that you need when you need to re-listen.
Okay, so is it all, I guess, one-to-one sessions plus the audio that you're listening to, or is it just literally the audio and then you're off and doing whatever movements, you're doing whatever kind of internal?
It's very integrated. So we have one-to-one sessions throughout, but we also have group sessions every other week. Okay. They're really powerful because everyone motivates each other and holds each other accountable, and there's questions that someone asks that someone else might not have thought of yet, but that really helps. So we have group sessions, we have one-to-one support, and then in the background you still have all of this like library of information to work through at your own pace. Yeah. So we've got Nourish, Move, Realign, which is regulating your nervous system, and Recover, which is not just sleep, but actually understanding when you need to pull back and rest. So what you were saying earlier about how women are go, burnt out, it's releasing the need.
And if
to be like that.
That's okay. I mean, I'm just overwhelmed by how much you guys do in this program. I had no idea really how comprehensive it was, and I think it's absolutely fascinating. I think that's the way a lot of programs should be working, more holistically about our own bodies, and also not only is it comprehensive, but it's also personalized. So I love that about this. And so if someone's listening right now, they're burnt out and they are just like, you know what, I just want to do something. I just want to start something small. What are 2 small things that they can start doing this week that would generally make a difference? Besides calling you.
Just to say before I answer that one, if it's not the whole 4-month program that someone's interested in, get in touch still. Let's have the initial consultation and let's get the blood test booked, so at least we've got that window and we understand what's going on.
Excellent.
But in terms of what someone can do by themselves pretty easily, depending on life stage, something I recommend for everyone with a menstrual cycle is to start tracking your menstrual cycle.
Oh, right.
Because it answers so many questions and it takes a lot of pressure off of wondering, why am I like this? Why am I so inconsistent? Why did I feel so different last week? Why am I biting my partner's head off today for absolutely no reason? If you start tracking your cycle and you notice that actually that happens on day 22 every single month, or something happens on day 3 every single month, that you feel a certain way in a certain time period, you can predict it. You can see that it's okay, next week I might feel more stressed, more sensitive to stress, more irritable, and then you can start thinking, okay, what would help me to manage that better? Not what would fix that, but actually, can I rest a bit more during that week? can I take 10 seconds to breathe before I snap at my partner? Because
we can all do that.
we can all do that, but I think just understanding that you're not crazy, you're not weird, you're not broken. It's your hormones, and understanding your own patterns is really helpful.
Okay, so I love that you have talked to the girlies that are going through that perimenopause. What about us older ladies that might be still going through menopause, are in the working world, burnt out? What is it still? It's not the same because we don't have our periods to track. What could we be doing?
So there's so many things.
Okay. Just
that are encompassed in those 4 elements of move, nourish, recover, realign. I think an important one is allowing yourself more time to rest and recharge. So in the Lead Like a Woman session that I hold, it's this section is called Recharge Your Battery, and it's understanding that rest isn't a waste of time. It's actually going to be beneficial and productive because your body is literally like a battery, and the more time you spend in fight or flight, your sympathetic nervous system state, it drains your battery. That's fine, that's normal. Like when you use your phone, you drain the battery, but are you plugging it back in and recharging it up to a point where it's full again? Or are you making yourself continuously need to work and run on this low battery mode? It's just, I think it's a mindset shift of, I really need to treat my body in a way that, so if I'm expecting it to perform at 100%, what am I giving it to allow it to do that? And it needs the right fuel. It needs rest. It needs to be spoken to nicely. It needs lots of things to be able to, exactly. But rest is one thing that a lot of women do struggle with.
And oh my God, that's so resonated with me, what you just said about rest. And actually last week, I've just started with a personal trainer, and she's brilliant, has me working out, and I'm feeling the effects of going to the gym more regularly now, working out or getting stronger. But last week, I think something happened and I just twinged.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I've got this twinge. It's like, this is what happens when your body just starts to kind of break down. But it was almost to the point of debilitating. And I was like, I couldn't really stand up straight. Every time I was getting up, I was just like, oh my God. And I said to her I think it was last Friday, I said, you know what? I am just going to have to stay home and rest. I don't think I just need to be doing a lot right now. I just need to give my body some time. And the next day I was supposed to go walking, and I even had to cancel that. And I said, I'm still not feeling 100%. I'm going to rest. Literally by Sunday, I was up again, like feeling great. I thought, those 2 days of rest, really, I don't even feel the pain anymore. And I just never really took it for granted that rest is something that you need to do, especially when you're a woman and you are, you're not often doing a lot more with your body. So yeah, I completely agree with that. So thank you.
That's really powerful, because what you've done is listen to your body.
Yeah.
You've taken a moment to think, I could push through.
Yeah.
But what is my body trying to tell me here? Yeah. It's probably better that I take 2 days out, and that's not going to hinder my progress.
Yeah.
And whether that's with an exercise program, with work, with relationships, whatever it is. Yeah. It just means you're going to come back with a more fully charged battery and a less injured body.
Tell me about it. I was just so amazed. And I think the power of rest really is something that a lot of women, you're so used to go, especially living in London. There's so much to do and so many things happening, and you just want to be like, go. And I'm just taking a step back. I was like grateful that I actually did listen, because I could have done some more damage to myself.
One thing I've recently started doing that really helps with this is writing rest on my to-do list. So on day 1 of my period, or the day before I come on my period, I'll be writing my to-do list like I do every morning, what my tasks today. And if I actually write rest as a task, it means at the end of the day I have to be able to cross it off. Wow. And I'm someone that likes to cross off everything on my to-do list.
Yeah, me too.
The fact that it's actually written there, or schedule it into your diary, and it just means that you have to do it, even if it's only 10 minutes.
I think a lot of women probably feel guilty about resting. They feel like they should be up and doing stuff around the house and running after the kids or cleaning or whatever it is. But just giving yourself that grace, that space, I think is so, so important. Not just for your physical well-being, for your mental well-being as well. So yeah, I appreciate you from the expert saying rest people is important and you have to look after yourself. Right. We're getting to the last little bit. Is the one kind of takeaway shift that I wanted to leave our lovely audience with. I call them my thrivers. So my last question to you is, what's one belief about health or self-care that women really need to let go of? It's a lot. I know.
Wow.
I know. I'm only want one from you. I mean, if the audience says we want Alice Smith back, you'll come back.
So this is for women and society and men and everyone else in between.
Love it.
Is that women aren't weaker or less capable because their physiology is not built for 100% push, go, go, go every day. They are just as capable, if not more, but when we work in a way that works for our physiology. So having to take that rest and pull back isn't weaker, it's not holding you back, it's not unproductive, it's productive but in a different way that society views as normal and the way to do it. But once you, first of all, change that mindset, understand that about yourself, start to listen to your body, start to work with how your physiology works, the power that you can unlock in your creativity and productivity and motivation and everything that you need to succeed, you get that in full power when you start to work with your physiology.
Oh my God, that's a mic drop moment. A mic drop moment, people. Oh my God, that was so amazing. Love that. So thank you so much. I feel like this is the kind of conversation every woman needs to hear, okay? And we need to hear it much earlier. So because so much of what we go through, we really internalize and we think it's just us. You know, we think, or we're not coping properly. We think, oh, it's just me. It's just, I should just carry on. When actually it's our body asking for something different, right, people? If you've ever been feeling off, tired, disconnected, this isn't about fixing yourself. It's about understanding yourself a little better. And I really want to thank you so much, Alice, for coming in and talking to us about this. Really important. Again, it's inwellness.life.
So the website is inwellness.life,
okay.
And the socials are at Alice in Wellness.
Lovely. This was honestly so eye-opening, so thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye guys, see you later.